Guys, if you're like me and you drive a lot of older vehicles like this 35-year-old Chevy Suburban, you got plastic and plastic brakes. We're going to show you in this video how we're going to fix some plastic, so stay tuned. So in this 90 Suburban, we've got captain's chairs, which means we've got a console which is bolted in there. There is an inner liner that you got to peel out once you take all your junk out of it. And then 4 bolts, 2 in the front and 2 in the back, that hold that thing down. Now I had 3 problems, I guess, with this console and trying to get it to A, stop rattling around, because when you're driving down the road, it's just, shaking and rattling. 2 was the lid wouldn't close. And 3 is it's got a great big crack in it. Not quite sure how it happened, but let's go take a look and I'll show you what we're talking about. So this is the console. Cup holders here, and we've got our lid that goes on here. I've already got this off. So the first problem we were having was when it's mounted in the vehicle, it would just constantly, just always be rocking like so. And the problem with that was the holes down through the floor were, well, they were wallered out a bit. So we'll get back to that here in a minute. But then the second problem I was having was this latch was not locking on the striker here. So what I ended up having to do was space out this little steel ring and adjust it back that way. Because what happens over time is the plastic gets weak and it sags in the middle. And rather than get in there and try and heat it up and get it back into place, I just put some spacers in there, lifted this up. So now when that latches, it actually locks. It never used to do that since I bought the thing. And now it goes back into place and actually locks in. There's little rubber bumpers here and here that will keep this lid from rattling. Before, it would rattle because it wasn't latched. That was annoying. But if I spin this around, on this back driver's side corner, you can tell, great big crack all the way up through, and it even goes into this side here. So that piece there has the potential to just, I don't know, break even further. So I think what we're going to try and do is, I've got my heat gun. We're going to try and heat it up from the inside, at least soft enough so that we can kind of draw that together a little bit. And then once we can kind of mold that together, is I've got my little plastic welder, and it's got these little squiggly pieces that from the inside, we are going to try and join the 2 pieces of plastic together back in the spot they're supposed to be in. So the trick is going to be using the heat to warm it up enough that it's A, not going to damage the plastic, but B, so that I almost need 2 people, because I got to get that heated up and then I got to draw it together and put this in at the same time. We're going to see how it goes. I do have some clamps if I need to try and draw this thing together, but let's get going with the heat first and see if we can actually draw that piece together. I got my woodworking clamp here and I started squeezing it together, and it's drawing this crack closer together. I'm not sure if you guys can see that, but if I come in there, right about there, that's almost even. So I'm wondering if I can do it this way and get in there with the welder and seal that up on the inside, then I can let go of it, and then maybe I can come back at it this way to draw that bigger crack. Let's try this and see if we can actually get you guys in there and see what happens when we use that welder. Now I know I'm going to be in your way, but you watch as I heat this up, it will start to get hot and actually glow. See, there it is, glowing orange. And we're going to stick this right in here. And then not go too far. Well, let go so it cools down, and give it a twist so it actually locks into place. And that plastic should harden up fairly quickly, so I can pull that out, and it just leaves 2 tabs, one there and one there. And then when we're done, we can go back and snip those off with the side cutters. So those are just pressure fit. I just hold that in there like so, and then we press and hold till she glows again. See it smoking and getting hot. There's the glow. So I'm going to do this several more times, and then we'll let go of the clamp and see how well that holds together. Okay, so as you can see, I was able to get 6 of them in there all together. Let's hope that that's enough. And then that seam came together really nicely. So let's see if we can pull the clamp off in hopes that that stays together. And then we can go over here and work on this one. Okay, so clamp pressure off. Just like that. It seemed to stay together pretty good. Now the question is, can we draw that back together? I think we're close. I just don't know if the clamp itself has the leverage that we need. Oh, sure it does. Alright, I'm still overhanging here because we didn't quite get it tight enough there. Let me try and move this over some. That's a little bit better. And now we'll see if we can get a bunch more going down that side. So there's the repair from the outside. Right on that very corner, we got a little bit of an overlap. And come around here, there's still a little bit of a gap. If a fellow really wanted to get fussy, he could go in there and putty that up and try and mimic the pattern and make it look like something. I'm not that guy. And then if we come in here, you'll see the entire stitching, the whole way down and then up and around into this side. I may go and throw 1 or 2 here as well as over here to keep that from really going any further. I don't think it will because that metal is reinforced in there. So now all I've got to do is get the side cutters out, snip off all those ends, and I'm not worried about, hurting myself in the future by sticking my hand down in there. Remember, we've got that thick liner. That's going to cover all of that up anyways. So I'm going to snip that out. We'll go back into the truck and we'll show you how we're going to fix those holes down there. Okay, so in here, 2 front bolts mounted through holes here, and in the back they mounted this piece here mounts to the floor, and then the console mounts to it. And what's happening is, because it's been over tightened at some point, maybe over the course of its lifetime, it's pulled the screws. They're pretty heavy duty, right? They've pulled through the metal and kind of mushroomed it up. And so what I did was I just took the round end of my ball peen and pounded it back down to close that mushroom head up and therefore make the hole a little bit smaller. Now when we go to tighten this, we won't tighten it with the power tools. We'll kind of do it by hand so I can feel that it's tight. Same thing back here. We'll do the same thing. Pound that down, mushroom in those heads, and put all that extra metal back in towards the hole. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll get that console mounted back in there. So the other thing that we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of just regular old wire. We're going to stick that in the hole, and we're going to start tightening down the bolt, and that's going to help take up some space. And I want to tighten that up as well. That's good and tight. Let's get in there and I'll show you what I did. So basically I just kind of stuck the wire in the hole. We tighten that up now that we don't need the excess. Just cut that off. And do the same thing again with our next bolt. So we'll just put that in the hole with our next bolt, just start threading it in. And like I said, that'll help take up the slack. And now it's actually tight and we don't have to worry about these things backing off. We got 2 more screws to do up there. Then we can put our liner back in and officially test this thing, make sure it's not going to rattle. All right, so with the liner in, let's test this thing. The lock actually latches. No rattles there because it's actually on the rubber bumpers. And when I grab the entire piece, the only thing that's rattling is that door because it's not closed all the way. But that console is securely mounted. So we were able to fix 3 things here. We got the latch fixed, no more rattle. We got the crack fixed, and we got the thing securely mounted to the floor. That should do it. And I'm ready to make a road trip to make sure this thing is not rattling any further. Well, I think we all learned a little bit today about how that console comes apart and some of the components that make it happen. If you like this sort of video, make sure you're subscribed because this is the kind of stuff that we do here all the time. We're not just working on square body trucks, we're working on B-body Mopars, and we've got a fleet of Panther platform cars. And because I drive the old stuff, I'm always working, doing something to them, and I share it with you guys. And I hope that you enjoy it. Like this video, if you want to support Olde Carr Guy in more ways than just watching these videos, you can pick up your very own Olde Carr Guy merch. This one just happens to be a Suburban t-shirt. And if you want your very own Dale Jr. t-shirt, we have those as well. Hats, shirts, hoodies, and even beer koozies. There's stickers over there. If you want to follow my short form content, I've moved that over to OCG2. That's where I post daily shorts. Make sure you subscribe to Olde Carr Guy or OCG2 for all that fantastic stuff. Guys, I end every video with stay focused on the windshield, not the rearview mirror. I love you. God bless. Let's do it again in the next repair video.